So from year 7 to 12, I was determined to become a psychologist. That made my life so simple, so straightforward. It was monochrome, black and white. My parents supported my decision until it came time to choose uni preferences. Now, it was just a typical school day in my ancient history class, and that was the one fateful day where it changed my life. So nothing exciting happened. My teacher came in late as usual. He struck up a conversation with the IT guys, made his morning coffee, and then he came around to each of our tables and he chatted with us. And when he came to my table, he looked at me and he asked, "Rebecca, have you put in your uni preferences yet?" And I said, "No, I haven't. I'm having doubts about doing psychology." So from that day, my life was thrown into utter chaos. The only things I could think about were history and teaching. I forced myself to reflect on my current and past teachers and decipher their working methods and attitudes. Every day, I thought about my Year 11 ancient history teacher and how she was incredibly engaging in her methods and managed to somehow transform our quiet, shy class into the chattiest circle of trust, in her own words, that I'd ever known. While I was originally a reserved person who was disinclined to communicate in class, my teacher gave me a place to belong in our little family and always checked in with each of us to ensure that our academics and our mental state were intact. In every single one of her classes, though, she demonstrated what a communicative teacher should be. From her vocal tones to her modes of presenting to her interactive and fun activities, she gave life to the classroom and made my own life colourful. Now, a distinct memory that I have of her is an iconic quote, which I now live by, and that is, "There is no wrong answer as long as you can back it up." Whether as part of a history debating session or just something to remember when making difficult choices, to have something so trivial stick by me really showed me just how much I admired and respected her, and how much she reminded me of my own sister, who's also a teacher. So she went out of her way to encourage and prepare classes for us, as well as in-depth feedback on both assessment and classwork. She was delighted to know that her tutoring had changed me into a high-achieving historian the following year. So I often praise my history teachers, along with my English, hospitality, and Japanese. Each of them made me say, "I want to become a teacher." Their classrooms were relaxed, supportive, and most of all, they had faith in me, in my abilities, and that's something that I treasure deep in my heart. Although in some of those classes we may not have done any work, we just chatted the whole time, it was an open space where I could be who I wanted to be without being criticised, and the engaging way in which the teachers taught worked well with me. There was never a dull moment in these classes, and the enthusiasm and commitment of the teachers was tremendous, and it sparked an academic increase in my assessment results. However, it wasn't all fun and games in my remaining two classes. There was never a time where I felt comfortable. It was overly monochrome and dreary. My math teacher dominated the class with shouting and threats, and he disregarded the students in order to force them to cooperate. Similarly, in my study of religion class, there were multiple changes in the staff. At first, it was a shared class in which my grades actually fell academically, and as a result, my mental health began to decline because of poor communication between both teachers as well as the students. So not only did they have vastly different teaching methods that affected all of us as a class and as diverse learners, it caused a wall to just develop and grow between the teachers and us as a class. But study of religion did achieve a happy ending. However, upon notice that both my teachers were retiring from the school, my twins teacher held the position as mentor for us. Though it was only for a term, so that was a bit devastating for me. But in light of this, I found myself to be feeling a lot happier, more engaged, and my class dropped their barrier and became a more frenzy from then on, and it was like a dream come true, and I was so upset to find out that he was going to be replaced. But I learnt from him and cried tears of joy when I finally achieved a higher grade, which earned his praise and encouragement for the future. So Never in my life had I felt so determined to pursue something. Never in my life had I thought I would apply for an education degree. But I did. And I promised myself to display those same qualities that my teachers had shown, those same communicative, engaging, interactive qualities that they had shown, because I wanted to create a classroom where I could inspire my own students the way I had been inspired. And I wanted to create a classroom that enabled students to go beyond their limits and to achieve the results because of teaching capabilities. So this is where it comes to the end. So in the next few weeks, when my action history teacher came to me again asking, Rebecca, have you decided what you're going to do yet? I just replied, I'm going to become an ancient history teacher. And he just smiled at me and just said, you know what? You will make an excellent history teacher.